Hey guys, what's up? It's Justin, aka Diego. Sorry there's been a short lack of me putting out videos. I've been busy raiding and I haven't really had the time, spare time to make some videos. But so I want to address a couple people that have been asking for leveling and raiding specs. If you don't have an 80 Paladin, I would recommend that you get one. Obviously, if you're gonna tank, I'd recommend that you get one because they're very strong as a tanking class in the game right now. Basically, because Ardent Defender right here separates us from every other tank. We're the only tank that could die every 2 minutes, as long as that doesn't proc, or even if it does proc every 2 minutes, we could die. So it's pretty strong as a tanking class by itself. So this one I did, and take this with a grain of salt, guys. I've been a level 80, or I've been capped level in BC. It was 70, so I've been at the max level for about 2.5, 3 years now. So I haven't leveled a prop paladin in quite some time. But if I did, I would recommend something like this. Basically, you know, I remember when I was leveling Burning Crusades, the only kind of vice that we had, I don't know if that's the right word, we'll just say it. So the only thing that Paladins really have a niche for that really fuck us up are casters. So that's why I spec'd into improved hammer, and obviously Judgment with a Just. So you're gonna have a 30-second cooldown on a stun, plus a silence. So I mean it really should negate a little bit of the issues. And obviously if you're on a PvP server, it's gonna help out with some caster player versus player combat, and some other maybe if you want to solo like a 5-man quest or something like that. And the thing that you're fighting is stunnable, that it will also help, but a lot of them aren't. But it just depends on what quest you're doing or whatever. But so obviously this is for level 80, so obviously this, you would want to change your spec as soon as you hit 80, but you could put the points in, based upon, start out in the prot tree. You want to get Hammer of the Righteous as soon as possible. I don't have any floated points in this spec, but if you're strictly not going to do any dungeons, you won't really need Spiritual Atonement because you're not going to be getting healed by anyone else. So there's 2 points you could free up. That's the only thing I could really say. I wouldn't really know if this is going to be the best spec. The idea behind Paladin leveling specs is you want to pull as much stuff as you can and then just beat it down, while minimalizing the amount of damage that you take, mitigating as much damage as you could take. The glyphs I selected here were Judgment, Hammer of the Righteous, and Salvation. Salvation for the extra cooldown if things get hairy. If you're running out of mana, I looked, and you could probably swap out Judgment for where is it? Seal of Command. So you get 8% of your base mana back every time you judge, which is would negate a lot of the mana issues that you might be having. And obviously I would use Seal of Command the majority of the time if you're pulling 4, 5 plus mobs at a time. Hopefully you are. If you're in the world, they do chain, so sometimes you gotta just solo it. You might want to switch back and forth between Vengeance, but you don't really necessarily have to. For the minor glyphs, which one I thought might be a pretty good minor glyph would be Glyph of the Wise. For some reason, if you do go out of mana, you can switch to that real quick at 50% reduced cost, mana up. Hopefully Divine Plea is still ticking away via Guarded by the Light. If it's not, you can pop that mana up, Judge Wisdom, get your mana back, and then continue Judging Light, and so on and so forth. Keep yourself healed. That's really what I would think would be a pretty good leveling spec. Obviously, like I said, it's for level 80, so you would just have to put the points in as you go. That's it. And obviously, like I said, you want to probably fill out the ret tree last. Pick up Seal of Command, maybe. You might want to get that as soon as possible. That's a pretty strong talent. So is Hammer of the Righteous, but I mean, I wouldn't know which would be better to go. I guess you guys can debate that. But for all you 5-man dungeon raiders, this is a spec that I did. This should negate any of the threat issues that you have. Obviously, if you're using, if you're at level 80 and you get some random DPS that is extremely geared, a lot more geared than you, you're still gonna have issues regardless of the spec. It's just a question of gear at that time. It's nothing to do with how good or bad of a tank you are. I mean, regardless, if you're severely outgeared by DPS, it's gonna be hard whatever your spec is, if your gear is pretty bad, or you're new, you just leveled. So I have 2 floater points in this. I didn't pick up any of these talents down here. In a dungeon, a lot of stuff is immune to silences, some stuff isn't, but it's really, the 3% damage is nice, but the silence is more of a utility talent. So be that as it may, you can spec into Judgments of the Just if you want. Like I just got 2 floater points. So, and then I maxed it. Like you only need 1 point in there, but if you're having mana issues, 2 points is nice. And then Reckoning is probably a pretty strong talent for 5-mans, because the majority of your stuff is going to be trash in 5-mans. So you're going to be using Seal of Command, and you're wanting a lot of Reckoning procs, and you're going to be getting a lot of them because hopefully you're tanking multiple mobs. So, and then the glyphs I went over were Divine Plea, Hammer of the Righteous, which is obviously going to be really strong because hopefully you'll have 4 mobs at a time. There's typically 4 mobs in a pull on average, and if they're not, usually you just pull more. Hopefully you pull more if your gear is sufficient level for 5-mans, which it pretty much all blues can do that. And then Vengeance. This is probably the one that is subjective, because it's good to switch over to this on bosses, but it's not crucial. It does do significantly more damage than Seal of Command will, but I mean, it's just personal preference. You don't really have to, so you could switch out for whichever one you feel would be best. Maybe Salvation. Not really. I was thinking maybe Avenger Shield, but you lose a lot of utility on pulls with it only hitting 1 target as opposed to 3. But yeah, so that's basically it. So put those 2 points where you want. Thanks for watching, you guys. I got a couple other videos. I got a big project coming up, so I'm going to try to pace it over a couple days. So thanks for watching. Have a good one.